Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is episode 2 of the Crocheter Tales. So I'm really excited because I've got 5 emails to read, and I have not read these. So I didn't want to read them because I want you guys to get the full what's the word I'm trying to think of? I want you guys to see my true reaction to these emails, because episode 1, those had me, yeah. Anywho, so before we get started, if you have a story that you would like me to read on an episode of Crocheter Tales, email me. My email address is in the description box. Shoot me an email, and don't feel like you have to do it instantly. You're gonna have plenty of time to do it, okay? And you can have it as long or as short. Let me know if I can say your name or not and things like that. But all right, let's just get right into it. So I have one. Okay, so this is from Marta Hankinson. Let me know if I pronounced that wrong. She says, I'm often asked how I started crocheting. This is that story. My grandma taught me to crochet when I was about 8 years old. I learned to crochet rectangular single crochet hot pads made with Aunt Lydia's rug yarn. This would have been in the mid 1960s. I experimented with circles and ovals, but they were nearly always cupped or puckered. My mom still proudly added them to the stack of hot pads in the drawer. That was the extent of my crocheting for years. Fast forward to the early 1970s. I was in high school. Hippie fashion was big, and it seemed everyone had a crocheted vest featuring large granny squares on the front and back, with smaller panels for the sides and straps. I desperately wanted one of those vests, but money was tight in my family, and they were just too expensive. Then, wonder of wonders, I found a kit at Woolworths for a granny square vest that cost a fraction of the vest in stores. It was white and several shades of blue. Ooh, I'm picturing it in my head, and I bet it's pretty. It was several shades of blue, and it was perfect. I finally persuaded my mom to buy it for me. Remember, up to that point, my entire crochet experience was making a few single crochet hot pads, and there was no YouTube or internet. All I had was the instruction sheet that came in the kit, but I was determined. I studied the instructions in the picture and taught myself how to do more advanced stitches, how to read a pattern, and all the other skills I needed. I successfully made my granny square vest, which I wore proudly. Of course, fashion being so fickle, it wasn't long before styles changed again and my vest was no longer cool. Dang it! That vest opened the door for me. Within a few years, I was making items for me and for gifts. Some I remember include a pretty lacy shawl for my mother. I have it now. That's cool. Some thread Christmas ornaments, and a hat, scarf, and mitten set for myself. I'm retired now, and I'm able to crochet nearly every day. I sell many of my things at holiday craft fairs. The money I make allows me to buy more yarn and patterns without feeling guilty. Crochet is my hobby and my therapy. I always have multiple whips going at once, which lets me work on whatever my mood dictates. I love how you said that. Many whips, so whatever the mood, your mood, you know what I'm trying to say. I like how you said that. That's very fitting. I love making everything from amigurumi to blankets. I often thank my grandmother and the whims of 1970s fashion for giving me this lifelong gift. I hope this is the kind of crochet story you were seeking. If you do an internet search for vintage crochet granny vest, you can find images and patterns very similar to my vest. Your enthusiasm for all things crochet is infectious. I love your delight in finding forgotten crochet treasures at thrift stores and antique shop. Thanks for sharing your world with us. Marta from Colorado. It's weird being the same age as old people. That's cute. I love it. Yes, that is what I was looking for. Stories like this. I love it. That is perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Marta. And I'm going to email you right now. Okay. Well, and if you guys want to see something that I found recently, and I want to make these, but it's going to take me a little bit to be able to pick through the stitches to make it. It's a Bonnet Sue and overall Sam. Aren't they cute? I definitely want to make these for my channel, but it's going to take me a little bit to, because I have a Bonnet Sue, but this is a lot better than the one I have that I made or designed anyway. But yeah, I'll go through here and I'll pick through all the stitches and figure out how she made these. I think these are adorable. Anyway, okay, so thank you for that, Marta. That was awesome. Let's see. So this one is from Donna. It says, "Hi Alana. When I was a little girl, I had a favorite aunt. She did not have children of her own, and I was very special to her. My whole life, she called me Auntie's little sweet." That's precious. I used to go to her house for the weekends, and she and my uncle used to play games with me and take me to their annual church Christmas parties and their summer cottage. When I was a teenager, my aunt taught me to crochet. She was very crafty. She could knit, crochet, and sew, and she also made the best meals. She sewed me dresses when I was small, too, and I remember her sewing me a red velvet dress with white trim fur. It was my very favorite dress growing up. At 16 years of age, she taught me to crochet, and it was a granny square, but it was a granny square made with number 2 yarn and a very small crochet steel crochet hook. Holy cow. It took me a long time to master the tension for that square, but I did it, and I made an entire granny square afghan that had multiple colored squares with a black border. I still have that afghan and the very small steel hook, and they are some of my prized possessions. My aunt was so proud of me, and because of her, I have been crocheting for over 50 years. I think of her every time I pick up my hook. It is a very special craft with so many options for creativity, and I will always be so grateful for her. Thanks for the opportunity to share this story, Donna. That's awesome. And I have an afghan that sounds similar to what you're talking about. I don't know if it was made out of thread, but it's those little granny squares and it's just all black around it. That is so cool. When you watch this, I would love it if you could email me a picture of that, just because I want to see. Thank you, Donna. So this is from my good friend Johnny. He says, this is funny. "Sorry it's taken me a while to share my crochet story. I needed to collect my thoughts and find my words. Oh. Growing up in the 70s saw a lot of crochet items. Girls in my grammar school all wore crocheted vests over their Catholic school uniforms, which were proudly made by their nonas. Nonas. I don't know what is that. Is that like Italian for grandma? I think it is. Always being a creative boy, I so badly wanted to learn the art of crochet, but time and time again I was told, 'You're a boy. Boys don't crochet. Go play football in the street with the other boys.' Fast forward to the year 2000. On my way to work on the downtown ferry from New Jersey to New York, I saw a woman I befriended crocheting a baby blanket. I offhandedly tell her that I always wanted to learn to crochet, but was told I couldn't. She nonchalantly said she'd teach me. The next day we go to our neighborhood craft store, which is called the Rag Shop. First we picked out an Afghan and a book that would make... Oh wait, I lost the line. First we picked out an Afghan and a book that would make, which required 3 colors. That required 3 colors. We then picked out the yarns, a hook, and she taught me how to make large granny squares for my first ever crochet project. I remember finishing it on Thanksgiving Day 2000 and was truly thankful that year. After that, she taught me how to make a baby blanket from an old pattern she had. I wanted to make that damn blanket for every friend I knew having a baby. I found out a good friend and his wife were expecting their first baby, due December 2001. Being they didn't know the sex of the baby, I thought sunshine yellow would be perfect. So I started a blanket for this beautiful couple's bundle of joy. We all worked in downtown Manhattan at the time. I was with a firm on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange while my friend... Oh, I think I know where this is going. While my friend John and his wife Sylvia still worked in the World Trade Center. When the Stock Exchange shock on that tragic morning in September, I feared for all my friends who still worked in those towers. As I ran from the first falling tower, I prayed to God that my friends all got out. Most did. Most did, except John and Sylvia and their unborn child. They worked in the first tower that was hit. Their floor was only 2 below the roof, so there was no escape for them. After this terrible loss, I couldn't bring myself to finish that blanket or even think about crocheting. My little guy, who was 9 years old at the time, one day said, "Daddy, don't be sad anymore. Here, this is to help you be happy again." He handed me a skein of yarn he found in my closet and a crochet hook. I said, "Okay, I'm going to make you a rainbow blanket," which I did, and he still sleeps with every night. As for the unfinished baby blanket, I brought it to ground zero and left it with all of the other gifts people left for the victims. I will continue to do what I love, I can't read. I will continue to do what I love, crochet, until I meet John, Sylvia, and their baby in paradise. Wow. That was... I don't have the words. That was beautiful and sad as hell at the same time. Sorry. Dang it, you made me cry. Thanks, Johnny, for sending that. I appreciate it. Ah. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I don't have makeup running down my face. That got me. That got me good. Okay, I'm gonna move on. This one is from Teresa, and it says, "Hi Alana, first off, let me start off by saying I love your channel." Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for saying that. "This is my story when I was a little girl, probably around 8 years old. My dad and I would always go to the mountains with my great uncle and my great aunt Jenny. She had crippling arthritis, but she loved to crochet. She asked me if I wanted to learn, so I took her up on it. I remember I would get so frustrated that my work was coming out in points I had no idea I was supposed to chain at the end of the rows and turn my work. That's cute. When I went to bed, my aunt would work on it for me. I also had no idea back then there were different hooks. All I ever used was an H hook. I also didn't know anything about yarn coming in different sizes or dye lots. About 9 years ago, I lost my dad suddenly. I remember I was crocheting a baby blanket for my soon-to-be granddaughter on the porch at our cabin, and my dad said that it was beautiful. My sister and I now take care of our mom who has MS, and I crocheted her a shawl she loves and a blanket in her favorite color, and an owl. When I gave her that owl, she had the biggest smile on her face that will be forever in my heart. My husband of almost 40 years supports my craft. He says whatever makes me happy makes him happy. He even shops yarn for me. He knows about weights and about dye lots now too. I never sell anything. I just make it and give it away. I enjoy it. It relaxes me. I stopped for a while after my dad's passing until we got our mom straightened out. Sorry. My days consist of taking care of my mom and working second shift, but I come home and crochet and sometimes even fall asleep with a hook and my work on my lap. I hope everyone enjoyed this story. Teresa. That is cute. Thanks for sending that, Teresa. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to see the blanket and the owl and everything. You just email me a picture. It makes me think when I'm of that age, and I'm not rushing it by any means, I'm excited to have grandkids to crochet for and to teach, and because I feel that grandkids are more apt to want to know what grandma and or grandpa's doing, and I want, you know what I mean, like they want to know, they want to do it because grandma and grandpa did, and or grandpa did it. I don't have Kleenexes in here. Okay, this last one is from Esther Mortensen. It says, I saw your crochet story video and I loved it. It's so neat to hear what others experience. I agree that it is. Absolutely. What a great idea. Oh, excuse me. I have indigestion all of a sudden. Ugh. It says, about the time I was 13, my mom tried to teach me how to crochet. Unfortunately, she gave up because she couldn't allow down enough. Okay, hold on. Let me start that over. Unfortunately, she gave up because she couldn't allow down enough so I could see how she made even a simple chain. I discovered her pattern books had directions with pictures, so I taught myself to crochet. I hated practicing, so I found a pattern for a toilet paper cover and ended up making another that someone wanted to buy. Wow! Fast forward to my youngest daughter in high school who sat in while I taught my friend how to crochet. Because my daughter was left-handed, she figured out how to crochet. I taught her how to follow patterns, and she made an Afghan where each block was a different stitch. She's made more for much appreciated gifts. Now she crochets better than I do and creates her own stuffed animals to sell. She's 45 now. That's awesome. That was a happy story. Here's a not so happy, but we laugh every time we think about it. All right, get ready. A few years ago, the same daughter, her boys, and my husband and I took a trip right after Christmas so she wouldn't be home her first New Year after her husband asked for a divorce. We visited my brother and his wife in Detroit. I crocheted a cowl for my sister-in-law and a scarf for my brother. As a side, you should know my sister-in-law is a stickler for doing things the proper way. When my sister-in-law opened her gift, she handed it back and said she'd never use it, so take it back, and no, her daughter wouldn't use it, etc. My daughter and I looked at each other with startled expressions, and yes, my daughter had also made something which sister-in-law returned. What? Sister-in-law also tried to give back my brother's scarf, but he refused, saying he needed a scarf and loved it. We all laugh about this to this day, and no, I don't make anything for said sister-in-law anymore. I wouldn't either. Hope you enjoyed these stories. God bless, Esther. What a piece of... No. Thank you for sending that, Esther. That's a cute little story. Well, that's all I have now. So I want to thank... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Marta, Donna, Johnny, Teresa, and Esther. You guys got me. I feel kind of embarrassed because you got to see my true reaction without having time to process it beforehand. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go watch a comedy movie or something. Like I said, please write in, email me. My email address is in the description box. Email me your guys' stories, happy, sad, whatever it is. Email me and I will read them right here on my Crocheter Tales episodes. Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna go watch something funny. I love you all. You're the greatest. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.